Hey guys, welcome back to the Cult Classic Kids Show. And today I got a little bit of a discussion video for y'all. And to me, it's a very important topic because, well, it's been this false narrative that's been propagating for years at this point now. And in the wake of Gamergate 2.0, I think it's important to have a discussion on it. Hopefully, it doesn't become rambling, but it's an honest, genuine discussion. And that is to refute the false claims from, I guess, people that started gaming 8th generation or whatever have you, uh, around the concept of quote unquote video games have always been political. And this couldn't be any further from the truth, okay? Now, I've been gaming since the very late 90s, and a lot of us who have been gaming, you know, at that time, before that time, or even in the 2000s, we remember a time where, well, blatant propaganda wasn't forced into our video games. And there's a very distinct difference from back many years ago versus now. So, first and foremost, you're full of shit, okay? And this is a false attempt to justify, well, putting blatant propaganda in video games in modern day. And it's leading to a lot of disruption, man, from the hobby. I remember the days of watching Alpha Omega Sin, Happy Console Gamer show up at events and have like little discussions, on a panel. And guess what they would talk about? Well, anything but politics, really. All sorts of, if it be anime, video games, all the nerd stuff. There was a time where people would respect, keeping politics out of entertainment and the discussion of entertainment, because there was the basic standard that there was a time and place for everything. Nowadays, that does not exist. And there is a blatant change around the discussion of video games. I fall under it now. Everyone else falls under it now. My hope, as someone that does talk about the issue with this, is that it eventually does go away, or it becomes a very minor, small subsidiary at best. Because I want to get back to talking about the things that we love. I want to get back to, YouTube videos, really big push that inspired just the general love discussion of video games, or even, the critical in-depth analysis of video games that does involve some insane political nonsense. At the end of the day, I just want gaming to go back to being gaming and gaming discussions, and not political nonsense. I don't want to have to talk about yet another video game that has Donald Trump as a final boss, or talk about, well, there's not enough of this particular category in video games, or this isn't done particularly right, or I don't want blatant propaganda in discussion of global warming in video games. I don't care. Nobody cares. We want to go back to a time where this wasn't a thing. And there was a time for that, okay? There was a time, there was a place, it was a thing. And guess what? What really changed that? What changed that mindset of that general respect of, well, we're talking about entertainment. We're going to separate entertainment from politics. Well, as far back as I can remember, Anita Sarkeesian, 10 years ago, when this stuff was forced into video games, because she established the thought process that everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, and you must call it all out. The famous quote. And really, this is the person, among others, who inspired this forced propaganda and discussion of propaganda, or just discussion of political and social political ideology in video games. This is something that's relatively recent. This has not always been the case. And if you're going to be the dickhead that argues that even Mario, okay, the old school Mario was political, then you are a fucking retard. And I don't use those words lightly. You literally are. And a very, very constantly thrown out there thing that I've been seeing, and that was one of the things that inspired me to want to have this discussion, is, for example, this. And it feels like a bunch of people parroting the same sentiment. The basic sentiment being, well, if Samus was revealed to have been a female in modern day today, everyone would call it woke. And first off, people, are in America are willing to give Japan the benefit of the doubt more often than not. It's not like Japan doesn't get it right all the time. But that's the first reality of the conversation. Most of the time, Americans or people in the West are willing to give Japan the benefit of the doubt that they would not be doing this based on, well, wokeness or whatever have you. And second off, if you think that that's the case, guess who's responsible for that? Guess why that's the case? Guess why people have to have that general thought process of, well, is this happening because this game is woke? That's you motherfuckers that inspired this conversation now. It's because of you that now we have to question if anything in video games is even genuine anymore. We have to question if anything is propagandistic anymore. We have to question if anything is even remotely genuine at all because of you. You have done this to video games. It hasn't always been the case because back in the day, like you were saying, this was normal. This was okay. This wasn't propagandistic. This was just to be cool. This was just to be interesting. This was just to be new and fresh and fun. Now, it's not new. It's not fresh. It's not fun. All this stuff has been done and done to death. But the thing is, now you put your propaganda behind it. You force your political bullshit in it. And that's why now everyone has to question, or most people have to question, is this genuine or is this woke propagandistic bullshit? That is your fault. Thank you for that, by the way, because it's sad that we can't just, look, man, it's sad that things aren't the way that they used to be. And once again, that's your fault. And I have to go to one of my boys here, Atreus, who made this tweet, and I had to retweet it because it was a good discussion and good list. He said, real organic diversity in gaming. A thread. Feel free to add your own favorites and make this viral so we can show these sweet baby freaks and the rest of the industry they're full of shit. And it was good. And guys, if you haven't retweeted this and you're on Twitter, definitely retweet it. Give it a retweet. I'll put the link to this tweet in the description below. So definitely check it out and add your own characters to it. For me, I love characters like Bayonetta, like Fei Long, Nina Williams, Eddie Gordo, characters that I absolutely adore. I don't remember a time where there wasn't diverse characters in video games. Not every single video game would be considered diverse, but even so, like, there are plenty of games that I can think back to. I mean, Tekken was just criticized like a few months ago for apparently not being diverse enough. Tekken has always been diverse, you fucking weirdos. Not just in the propagandistic way you're hoping for. No, it was naturally, organically diverse in a positive way that I don't think anybody, even remotely sane, has ever had an issue with. Except for you guys, for some odd reason. And he goes on to list James Heller from Prototype 2, Eddie Gordo, my man, Tekken 3, baby. Oh my god, what a game. And we got Gay Tony from Grand Theft Auto. I actually loved Ballard Gay Tony more than I liked the actual main campaign in Grand Theft Auto. Sergeant Johnson from the Halo series. Absolutely love Sergeant Johnson. And then we got Destin from Prince of Persia, Ada Wong from the Resident Evil series, Samus Aran from Metroid, Chun-Li from Street Fighter, Brock from the Pokemon series, Miranda from Mass Effect, Ciri from the Witcher series, Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. And Barrett is such a great guy, man. Like, his love for his daughter, that like feeling that he gives off, that he's so responsible for this, this kid and stuff. It is genuinely touching. Barrett is a depthful character in so many ways. So absolutely love that character. Snoop Dogg from Def Jam Fight from New York. Hey, CJ. Hell yeah, from GTA San Andreas. San Andreas happens to be my very favorite GTA. And it's kind of ruined my ability to love GTA's afterwards, but nonetheless, my obsession, my love with San Andreas, it will live on forever. Raven from Tekken, Bayonetta from the Bayonetta series, absolutely adore Bayo, and Bayonetta's gotten so much scrutiny over the years. It's absolutely disgusting. I wish more people would have went to bat for Bayonetta like they have been doing for Eve, but I guess better late than never. And I'm talking about Eve from the Stellar Blade game that's coming out fairly shortly. I wish more people would have went to bat for Bayonetta like they do Eve, but like I said, better late than never. But Bayonetta is a character that was designed by a female that has faced so much scrutiny and disdain from a lot of these weirdos that claim to, appreciate women in video games, main protagonists, all that. They're a bunch of frauds at the end of the day. Craig from Halo. Oh man. Vivian from Dragon Age. I'm not familiar with Dragon Age at all. Cassandra from Soul Calibur. Definitely. Jax from Mortal Kombat. Absolutely love Jax, man. I loved him in Mortal Kombat Trilogy. He was a freaking badass. Hey, Light Chanonix here, a homie. Liz Coltrane, Sophita, Dorothea, Steve Cortez. I'm not really too familiar with anybody other than obviously Coltrane and Sophita. Relatively familiar with Sophita. I never really played Soul Calibur other than playing at a friend's house casually. But hey, we got Words of Paradise here. Liz Fei Long, Marvin from Resident Evil 2, Yoshimo from Baldur's Gate 2, and Sig from Jack 2. Yeah, there's people that have listed some of theirs, so definitely if you want to list your own. I didn't even get a chance to list my own, but definitely wanted to give Atreus a shout out there because, yeah, there was a time where there was definitely a good catalog of diverse characters and it was genuine, it wasn't forced, it felt right. The characters are extremely memorable and lovable to so many. And the sad thing is, because of people that overly politicize every fucking thing that comes across their face, if these characters were brought back today, yes, we would unfortunately have that thought process of, is this genuine or is it woke? It's sad, but we're here because of you. So to try and blame other people for that when, that's what you're responsible for creating because of all the disingenuous garbage, that's on you. That's an L you're going to have to eat, buddy. And another issue, another example they constantly bring up is video games that have in-world politics in them. For example, Metal Gear Solid. It's used so much. It's so disingenuous. You should be fucking ashamed of yourself, especially if you claim to be a fan of the Metal Gear franchise. Personally, I'm not a fan of the Metal Gear franchise. I'm not much into stealth, but the story behind Metal Gear, those characters, insane stuff, man. Really, really freaking depthful badassery on Hideo Kojima's part. And Hideo Kojima, from what I've researched in regards to the Metal Gear franchise, especially the first one, he was inspired by stuff like 007, like The Great Escape, films. He's highly inspired by films in pretty much all of his work from what I've noticed. And that was his inspirations for it. And yes, he used a political time period, being the Cold War, in order to, create a story. But the difference, and what makes you guys disingenuous pricks that push this bullshit, the difference is that Hideo Kojima isn't using politics as propaganda to try and get you to think a certain way. No, not at all. He's just using, historical politics in order to craft a universe. Not necessarily to sway you in any way, shape, or form. It's just to tell a story. So to be disingenuous to that level, or to be that stupid, well, once again, that's your fault. And finally, a game that was created recently that's honestly probably one of the greatest games of all time, objectively speaking, given its high acclaim, its its insane love from its community, would have to be The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now, what was the inspiration of this game? Well, to the people that constantly want woke propaganda in their video games or think that everything is, everything is political. Well, the reason why, the inspiration behind why Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was created and what the producer, Eiji Odanuma, was hoping to communicate with his players was that he wanted to inspire gamers, off the game to basically come up with different ways to solve problems, to think outside of the box, to inspire his own child to do such, to think outside the box of how to solve issues. And I think that from what I've seen of Tears of the Kingdom, that with it being so many insane ways to deal with problems, people coming up with all sorts of creative, insane things, I think that, at least from what I've seen, not from what I've played, I actually am hoping to, get a Switch 2 and play that on a Switch 2 baby at 60 FPS and all that. But I think from what I've seen that they've done a great job of going that far to accomplish that. That isn't at all propagandistic. That isn't at all political. That's just life lessons at its core. And matter of fact, a lot of early video games that were created probably had a very, very simple concept that evolved into a great creation and that we cherish years later. But the irony is that Tears of the Kingdom sought to get people to think outside of a box. And people like those who try to push their political propaganda, push wokeness, Sweet Baby Inc. supporters or Sweet Baby Inc. people themselves, or all these other companies that are so obsessed with all this nonsense, a lot of them seek to force you into a box. And that's where Tears of the Kingdom shines as such a great game, a beautiful game. And that's where people like you, who are the complete opposite, it's where people like you are the problem. You're creating dysfunction. You're creating hatred. All of this is so sad that we're here, but we're here and I have to talk about it. I have to be honest. And it sucks that we're here. It sucks that we're so divided, but we can't hide it. We can't run away from it. We can't allow lies to continue to be spewed. So definitely spread this video around. It's a real discussion. I would love to hear what everyone has to say about it in the comment section down below. I don't care if weirdos, flag my video or whatever have you, yell at me in the comments. Whatever, bro. I don't care anymore. It is what it is. We have to have the real discussions. We have to shine light on this BS, on the lies, on SBI, on all these developers, companies that try to force this propaganda into our video games and have really just are going out of their way to ruin the entertainment space just because they want to force you into the same mind think box that they're a part of. But guys, let me know what you think about this. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me over on Twitter, Kick You Like, to continue the conversation. If you like the hat, definitely check out the merch store in the description below. If you want to be a part of my Discord, a simple membership gets you instant access. You'd have to go to the community, to the membership tab on my YouTube channel and click the link and be a part of the Discord, hang out with us. It's a good group of a good bunch of people that want to talk gaming and not be obsessed with politics and nonsense all the time. But yeah, guys, with that being said, I'm out. Peace.